All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. It was absolutely insane in the markets today, and we have so much to go over. The data did not disappoint right when the JOLTS jobs openings came out. The bonds got a bid, the market went up, and then by the end of the day, the NASDAQ closed just under 2% and the S&P right below 1.5. But why I'm making such a big deal about it? Because what we talked about yesterday happened. The data that came out was bad, and now finally, after a month of selling off, we got a couple of green days. So this was the fun fact of the day. Everybody was talking about it, but there was 2 green days from last Friday and then Monday recently. But we've been talking about how every Monday was green and then we sold off. But here's the fun fact for August. Besides this little opening here, unless you want to count that, and now after today, pretty much up until today, the month of August did not have one single back-to-back green day. So if we closed up green, the next day was always red, at least up until these last 3 days. And that's the first time that has happened since May of 2003. So this was a big deal. We're still kind of at the 4,500 level and where we've been at, but this definitely has people freaking out over here. You feel a little bit better now, but if you were listening to what we said, there is a window opening up now where the data, bad data, good effect on markets, and even just the market responding to the right data sets, we are starting to see that happen. Now, it will be short-lived, and even on top of it, here's what I get to sprinkle on top of all of it. As far as 2023 is concerned, every single major data set, even down to housing, it has been revised lower. So that's why I'm bringing this up right now, is because last year we saw a lot of, right data, market reaction. That even happened around this time, August, September. Maybe we see that happen again, but keep in mind there's been a lot of react to the data, then a lot of time goes on, then it gets revised, and then you don't really react to the revision, but everybody reacts right when they get it. So I thought that was important to mention here, but overall, it was our first little rally day or two. It was all because of the data, and now we know what we have to look forward for the rest of the week. So Chad, I got the rest of the events. We'll go over the data a little bit. I have one play. I doubled down on the biotech from yesterday. Still waiting for the PDUFA, so we're going to find out. Our chip plays came back, so we'll see what happens from there, but we got a good watch list. So Chad, I need your thumbs up on the video. Please, por favor. I love you. God bless you. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market, free 99, and for the data, non-farms, we might go live. I don't know. We'll see, but all of the data, this data today was during the hour, so you didn't need that live, but we were live with all of it, and you even heard my reaction right when it came out. But Chad, we got to get into it, and this is my job opening shirt. I feel like there's 8 million jobs out there. I feel like this is a shirt that signifies that. No, or should I get back to work? Okay, run it, baby.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it.
But right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, what type of watch list would this be if I did not open up with what China did this morning? And of course, it was another round of stimulus, but the markets actually liked it. So this was the first thing that set the backdrop of today, and why you need to understand that, because pre-market, the rest of the world, Europe, everybody else, they were doing good. We did not start going up till the market opened, and then until the data hit at 10 a.m. That's that giant candle, and then there was no looking back from there. So why I'm bringing this up, because right when that data hit, we moved, but over the last couple of days, there's been some positive momentum out of this. We don't trust China, but now it's kind of heating up, so maybe. And now after today, what they announced, they said that they will be cutting the rates on existing mortgages. So there's a couple of state-owned banks that hold mortgages. If it's state-owned, they're going to be cutting their existing mortgage rate by almost a quarter basis point. So the last time China did this was during 2008. That's the only other time that they have brought this tool out. So we got to keep watching the currency because this could get important. But generally speaking, it led to a positive reaction because people are kind of feeling good after feeling very sour towards China. Now, I'm bringing that up, and let me even jump towards this. If you do look at the calendar, we need to go over, that's the jobs report. I am going to go over the calendar and what's important. And I brought up this China stuff on stream today as well as yesterday on the watch list. And this is the China NBS manufacturing. I believe we're going to get this one in the next 24 hours here. This one is not as important as the ISM manufacturing. So the NBS manufacturing, this is a survey of large-scale China state-owned enterprises, whereas the PMI, the ISM China, the Caxton manufacturing one, that one is based off of 400 companies that they have been tracking for a while now. So you're going to get a difference, and that's why I'm saying watch one over the other. But China is definitely popping its head out. So far, it's been good, but maybe towards September, this turns negative. But it was definitely a big feature of the day. Now, to your jobs report, I don't know how crazy these numbers look to you, but it is a huge deal. I am just going to start with all of the fun facts. It is the lowest job openings in 28 months since about March 2021. I believe it is the third largest drop in job openings history ever, since the history of ever. So that's another one, again, that's even including COVID. But now, this is the kicker. And this is where we got an interesting dynamic today, because remember what I was telling you, it has to be bad, it can't be too bad, and then it can't be good, because again, if it's too bad, then people will start talking recession. And now why I don't think we had that today was because this was a signal that we've been waiting for on Powell. You know, the jobs market finally showing a sign Powell likes. That's why markets and bonds loved it. That was the first sign of us seeing that. However, depending on how the data plays out this week or down the road, maybe even after Powell, or if we keep seeing this, this can quickly turn sour. And I would argue that today's data was actually awful. And now why? Because I have to use the same thing that was used in the inflation argument. And what I am talking about is the 3-month average. So if you remember when inflation started going down, inflation was still really, really high, like literally 7, 8, 9, but even down to the 6s. And what did people start saying? Well, it's starting to come down, and then everybody magically started looking at a 3-month average of inflation. And they're saying if you look, headlines at 6, 7, 8, 9, but the 3-month average is now to 3 or 4, that's a good sign. Well, awesome. Now do the same thing on the JOLTS jobs openings. We'll see what happens with the non-farms on Friday as well. But just for the job openings so far, this average now, it's the worst or the second worst in history. The only 3-month average that has been declined this bad with job openings was literally COVID when the economy shut down. So I thought that's very important, but let me give you one more counter that we talked about. Here are the job openings over time, and we just brought this up. If you haven't realized, since 2021 and all of that, we are at a very elevated nature in terms of how many jobs are available. There's other stuff in terms of reporting and how that plays out, but it's even if we do drop another 2 million jobs, even if this average continues, that still takes you to highs. And just for comparison, take a look at where 2008 was and how that played out. So that's why it's all interesting in context. We have our own situation. Obviously, you could compare it, but now in terms of getting ready for the next move in Powell, this had an effect. It's showing that the final indicator of the labor market, this was at least one good sign. Now, let's throw all this out the window, because like we told you, none of it really matters. The JOLTS jobs openings, it shows one thing, then the non-farm and CPI, they're going to bring their own thing, and a lot of times the non-farms does not correlate as directly. So moving forward, though, hopefully you see the concept of bad being good, and us, if the data finally moves big enough and it's moving outside the bounds of the story and shows another 3-month average or another narrative that can be created, that's what's going to get the market in bonds moving. So moving forward for the rest of the week, that's what we're waiting for. A lot of people asked me what I thought was going to happen today. I think it's going to be a burn one. We're going to get I think some GDP or goods trades balance, and some of that stuff could move things in bonds. And it's the same thing. Too good is not going to be good. You want it mediocre. If it's too bad, again, after yesterday, maybe they start talking recession, but you just don't want anything too awful. But we don't have much of an opportunity. Like I said, you're going to get the NBS stuff in China at night. The next day, the next night is going to be more important. But really now it comes down to PCE. That'll give us a little bit on inflation. That could unwind everything you saw today or add to it. And then the non-farm payrolls, same thing. If this thing cracks, and people have been talking huge revisions, this is expected to go lower. If this thing cracks in the same respect, then you will also get the same reaction, probably until Powell, and then the next set where maybe if the data of jobs keeps going down at this pace, maybe by October, November, we don't like that. But until then, we will see what happens. That was the breakdown, and I hope you're getting this all because this is just the plan moving forward. We got to watch the data. If it keeps moving like this, we're going to get a lot of plays. But if it stops changing the narrative, then just go back to the holding pattern. So, again, we're still in the holding pattern more or less. But that was the day. That was everything. And now, let us get into the plays. So, like I said yesterday, I really didn't have much. I'm glad the chip makers came back. I should have averaged down on Intel. That one I came back positive, but even NVIDIA, I'm only down $400, $500 now. Recouped a lot of the unrealized losses, so that's at least good. I think RXRX came back and then came negative, but as far as plays, the only play I made today, I almost went for the coin play. There was huge news, and we caught it early if you were on stream, but I doubled down on Outlook, so I'm waiting for their FDA approval. Actually, let me check right now as I'm making this. Please hold. Yeah, the news didn't come out. Maybe we'll get it pre-market or even after hours tomorrow. Everyone's going to be like, it's a good sign, it's a bad sign. It all rides down to this play, but I averaged down on it, and I added 7,000 shares at 140. I was already up 20%, and the reason why we were going about it, someone asked me, they were asking me throughout the whole day, we were talking about it, we were up, we were saying you had a good enough gain. At one point, we were up 20%. You could have literally sold out pre-PDUFA and walked away with gains, but I was saying I wanted to hold it. Then we were doing our final recap into the end of the day, and I saw that there was a preview on this, and there was a couple of statistics that came out, but then there was new info that I learned. I did not know that this was pretty much an arms race for wet AMD. I told you there were some other drugs, and we talked about that today, but the thing about it is, if they really do get this approval, some people, I think Citi said it's about 40% chance it meets my criteria. They have no other approved drugs. This will be a make it or break it for them, but now it's given the nature, they get a 12-year exclusivity deal. I didn't realize it at that moment when I first made the play, but it got me to think there was a little bit more upside. So the downside still applies. I think you could lose anywhere 20 to 50%, more likely 50% if this doesn't do good. Like I'm telling you, this is an arms race for this drug. Whoever gets this, and it's also a generic too, so it's going to replace and be a cheaper alternative of a drug that is already doing millions and billions of dollars of sales already. So all of that is good, and I if you're getting excited about it, yeah, that's exactly why I got excited, but here's the caveat to that. If they don't get it today, tomorrow, whenever it comes out, or if somebody else gets that, that's it. It's a really zero-sum game. Whoever gets this approval, they're going to sweep in all of the chips. It's going to be a huge effect, a reaction. I think there's a couple of other wet AMD stocks out there, so I would look into this, but that's why I'm hey, I'm kind of willing to ride, but I'm taking a big risk on it. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm already in the play. Maybe if I kept it smaller, it would have been better, but we will go from there and find out. But that's the only play I did today. That is my first play. As far as any other play, I'm still riding out the chip makers, maybe a play on the bonds depending on what happens. If we start seeing data come out pretty much Thursday, what I would get ready for Thursday and Friday, the only other plays, if we start getting wild data that could create new averages and new narratives and, you know, just literally what you saw today, like a big movement, and it actually is just super easy to read, and we start watching that bond and market sensitivity, I think just get in and out of some of these future plays, we might have a good trading opportunity. I think OpenFace said that today. He flipped out of the 2-year on that news. I kind of like that idea. So otherwise, I'm going to be riding the chip plays. I have all of them. They came back now. Rally was nice. Nothing's confirmed. If the data presents an opportunity to make big day trades, I'm going to go for it. Otherwise, let's see what happens with the biotechs and everything else, because we got a lot of those, and then go from there and take us into September. So I hope you're ready, but that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember, pressure makes diamonds, but that's a long time. You know that. You hear that phrase a lot, but I hope you know how much time it takes to make the diamonds. Time is a currency. Don't ever forget about it. What are you going to go through with that time? What are you going to buy with it, man? I don't know. I'm doing weird stuff with my hands. I was pointing really early. I'm just saying I feel it, bro. In my Miami jobless claims party shirt, bro. I'm just saying, Chad, you are blessed. I hope you know of all the opportunities, but at the same time, use the time wisely. Handling the pressure, you got to make it through the moment, and I want you prepared for everything. And that's it. I'm just... You got the philo today? That's it. I'm saying is I don't know if it's awkward or too hype, bro. Ain't no caffeine, bro. Give him the Drake hands. Give him the Drake hands. Amen. Amen. That's it. Amen. Amen. I get an amen. All right, man. So that's it. I love you. Drink that water. I'm leaving now. That was a moment. Okay. All right. I love you. Bye.